We believe in Messiah. We believe Christ is Christos Mashiach, right? So obviously we have that faith, but it's just the cultural environment. And of course, I guess you're here today because you like that environment. But don't forget, our heart is for the 100,000 plus Jewish cousins we have right here in San Diego, one of the larger communities in the U.S. And, well, let's put it this way, they haven't come to church yet. They don't need to in a cultural way. Most people understand, hey, you reach people within their own culture. And if nothing else, a lot of churches seem to get this when it comes to missionaries going to different cultures and tribes and China. Back when, you know the name Hudson Taylor? Remember him? Famous missionary, Christian missionary, went to with the China Inland Mission about, 150 years ago. And I'd love to meet him someday. We'll all meet him. This guy was a radical. 1850, something like that, he gets the call, he feels, to go to China, not an easy thing, and to go as a missionary. By his own testimony, if you read his stuff, he said he spent like 20 years just floundering. I couldn't even hardly talk to anyone. They just thought he's some gringo that, showed up in China. And, why would we listen to him about anything, especially this religious stuff? We've got Buddhism, we've got Hinduism, we've got whatever. Well, God spoke to Hudson Taylor, and he said, Hudson, grow your ponytail. Hudson, get your kimono, full-on Chinese robe. Grow your whatever, goatee. Become adapted to the Chinese culture. And he started reading in the scriptures, places like 1 Corinthians, where Paul said all along, if you want to reach people, you reach them as within their culture. And his first mention, by the way, Paul's, is as a Jew to the Jew. Hudson Taylor didn't actually see a whole lot of fruit, he says. He was wondering why was he even there? 20 years, 40 years. He passed away. Guess what? Most Chinese believers today will say this whole revival, the Chinese church, the Church of China, underground a lot still today, is all based on Hudson Taylor's seed planted. Coming to the people, and finally they were listening because he was part of them. Well, if nothing else, I think any person who reads the New Testament, any Christian can appreciate, maybe they don't understand all about Judaism and what Messianic is, but you know what? We're just being as a Jew to the Jew. It's good biblical philosophy. And my vision has always been that Kehilat Ariel is a place where Jewish people can come and feel like they're in Jewish space. Again, you put the blinders on. Is it a church? Is it a synagogue? We want people. We want the Jewish culture. You guys do. But don't forget, every week, someone's probably here today from the Jewish community. Thank you. And you're most welcome to be here. It's a sincere thing. It's not just some facade we're putting on. We ourselves love our Jewish heritage even more now. But can you see the benefit of having a synagogue where Jews can come, especially our Jewish cousins can come and just feel like, well, I don't know about Yeshua, I'll have to think about that, but yeah, it's Shema Yisrael. Yes, it's Adon Olam. Yes, it's Baruch Atah Adonai, as opposed to some other cultural expression that is foreign to us Jews. Well, it impacts the music. And he says psalms, hymns, spiritual songs, let it be within the Jewish space. It's on your bulletin, by the way. Kehilat Ariel, building a synagogue community which has a faith in Yeshua as the Messiah. Building a synagogue, right there, that tells you where we're at, what we're doing here. And we are excited about it. The purpose of Messianic Jewish music. A few thoughts on that. And I love this example in the book of Acts. Acts chapter 16. We'll look at this for a few minutes. And we're moving to, the book of Acts is history. The book of Acts is, living drama. So we're going to see how Jewish worship came to a Roman prison, believe it or not. Acts 16, and I wish we had time for the whole chapter, but remember a couple Jewish guys, Paul and Silas, don't forget they're Messianic Jews, taking this message to the Gentile world, and found themselves around the city of Philippi in the Roman Empire. And interestingly enough, it's not the Jewish guys that are hassling them, it's the Gentiles that are giving these Jewish guys a hard time. We pick up the story in Acts 16, verse 19. It says, when the master saw that the hope for profit was gone. This is down at the swap meet, okay, the marketplace. And the Jewish guys are preaching, hey, one God, get rid of the idols, you don't need this stuff. And business is going bad for the pagans, the pagan business owners. Well, when that happened, they grabbed Paul and Silas, dragged them into the marketplace before the Roman authorities. And when they brought them to the chief authorities, they said, these men are throwing our city into an uproar. Being Jewish, that's, you got to think a slur in their context. Being Jewish, they advocate customs which are not permitted for us to accept or practice, being Romans. Then the crowd joined in the attack on them. So the chief authorities, again, this is the secular, pagan town of Philippi. The authorities ripped their clothes off them, command them to be beaten with rods. Not a pleasant experience. After inflicting many blows on them, they threw them into prison, ordering the jailer to guard them securely. Having received this charge, he threw them into the inner prison, fastened their feet in stocks. Jewish guys and a Roman slammer, I don't have to tell you, it's not going to be good. I mean, you're lucky if you get out of that alive. And so what are the guys doing? Paul and Silas, Shaul. About midnight, Shaul and Silas were davening, praying, singing hymns, hymnos, to God, Jewish hymns. And the prisoners were listening to them. Think about that verse. That's a little microcosm of the whole thing of Messianic worship. Number one, Messianic music uplifts us as believers. Does it not? It's meant to pick up your spirit, my spirit. Give us a vision, a little bit larger picture of what's really the truth. And so here are these guys bleeding, midnight in prison. It's not Jewish prayer service time at midnight, but they had all the prayers memorized, just like some of you do. And they said, hey, Shaul, let's start singing. Whatever they were singing. I mean, you guys know, some of you were brought up in synagogue and you hang around here a couple of years. You got these things memorized, these beautiful prayers, hymns, Jewish in Hebrew. They didn't have the luxury of bringing out a Torah scroll in prison. They didn't even have a luxury of a Siddur in prison. But that's why, remember Colossians, put that word of Messiah in your heart with songs, hymns, spiritual songs. It comes right into our neshama, our spirit. And what's so interesting is that it builds up Paul and Silas. They were praying, davening, and just, we better think about God here. We may not even live to see the morning. So please note, Messianic worship blesses us, encourages believers. But also in that verse 25, Messianic worship is a blessing to God himself. Again, it's that avodah concept, that worship is not just, oh God, please bless me today. That's part of it. It's okay to to be a little selfish and want God to bless us, right? But it'll revolutionize your concept of synagogue service, of worship services, if you're coming with the idea, you know what? God's waiting to hear my praises. God is smiling when he hears Baruch Atah Adonai. Yeshua is blessed when he hears the praises from his people. Psalm 22, God dwells in the midst of the praises of his people Israel. Think that awesome responsibility. God is listening to us. I mean, duh. You would think so, but we forget, do we not? And if you remind yourself that, this worship service, this song is a gift to the Father. It says they were praying to God. They weren't just singing to each other. Oh, Adon Olam. They're praying to God. God's blessed. They're encouraged, even in jail. And the third thing that it even testifies to other people. The prisoners were listening to them. What's with these Meshuggah Jewish guys, It's like, we're in prison. Will you get a grip here? We're going to die. We could be executed in the morning, and you're saying, Adon Olam Asher Malach. All praise to the all-eternal one. He's got everything under control. Adonai li v'lo ira. He's watching over my soul. There is no fear. They were singing something like that. I don't know if it was Adon Olam, but it probably was something like that, a hymn. And the prisoners, the pagan prisoners, I don't know if there was another Jew in the house in Philippi, but they're listening, guy, what is with these Jewish guys? How can they be having a spirit of shalom, a spirit of thanksgiving at a time like this? You know what? Messianic Jewish music speaks to others. Speaks to those who aren't Messianic. Believe me, we've had plenty of people come to our synagogue and they can't figure us out still. It's like, what is with, will you guys tone it down? What's with the dancing? What's with, why are these people so happy? I've had people ask that. I had a true story, a Jewish guy, I think I've shared before, classic Jewish older guy. He said, man, Rabbi, this is a great synagogue. I love the people. Man, what joy, what simcha. I said, if you would just, tone it down on this Yeshua thing. And I told him, I said, hey, guess what? It is the Yeshua thing that's giving us the whole picture here. He's the center of it. Well, and the music testifies to others. The purpose of Messianic Jewish worship.
Teach us, O Lord, to number our days, that we may gain a heart of wisdom. Teach us, O Lord, to number our days, that we may gain a heart of wisdom. Let your work appear to your servants, and your glory to their children. Lindot Yameinu, Kenodar Lenavi, Levakoma. Lindot Yameinu, Kenodar Let the beauty of the Lord our God, let your beauty be upon us. I will fear you, Lord, and serve only you. Serve you in truth with all my heart. For I consider what great things you've done for me. Teach us, O Lord, to number our days that we may gain a heart of wisdom. Teach us, O Lord, to number our days that we may gain a heart of wisdom. And establish the work of our hands for us. Cause our hands to serve your purposes. I will fear you, Lord, and serve only you. Serve you in truth with all my heart. For I consider what great things you've done for me. Teach us, O Lord, to number our days that we may gain a heart of wisdom. Teach us, O Lord, to number our days that we may gain a heart of wisdom. Teach me, Lord. Teach me, O Lord, to number our days wisdom.
Okay. Oh, give thanks to the Lord. Amen. You ready for that on Shabbat? Thank you, God, for all your blessings. And the word's pretty simple.